Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th Canto, Chapter 2. We'll chant text 4 and read some other verses after it. Ekada pravishad gostam Shardulo Nishivarshati Shayana Gaba Uttaya Bitasta Babra Murbraje Ekada Pravishad Gostam Shardulo Nishivarshati Shayana Gaba Uttaya Bitasta Babramur Braje Ekada Pravishad Gostam Shardulo Nishivarshati Shayana Gaba Uttaya Bitasta Babramur Braje Vaishnavis. Ekada, once upon a time. Pravishat, entered. Goshtam, the land of the cowshed. Shardula, a tiger. Nishi, at night. Varshati, while it was raining. Shayana, lying down. Gava, cows. Uttaya, getting up. Bhita, fearing. Ta, all of them. Babramu, scattered here and there. Vrajay, in the land surrounding the cowshed. Translation: Once at night, while it was raining, a tiger entered the land of the cowshed. Upon seeing the tiger, all the cows who were lying down got up in fear and scattered here and there on the land. When the very strong tiger seized the cow screamed in distress and fear, and Prishadra, hearing the screaming, immediately followed the sound. He took up his sword, but because the stars were covered by clouds, he mistook the cow for the tiger and mistakenly cut off the cow's head with great force. Because the tiger's ear had been cut by the edge of the sword, the tiger was very afraid, and it fled from that place while bleeding on the street. In the morning, when Prishadra, who was quite able to subdue his enemy, saw that he had killed the cow, although at night he thought he had killed the tiger, he was very unhappy. Although Prishadra had committed the sin unknowingly, his family priest, Vashistha, cursed him, saying, "In your next life you shall not be able to become a Kshatriya. Instead, you shall take birth as a Shudra because of killing the cow." Purport: It appears that Vashistha was not free from tamoguna, the mode of ignorance. As the family priest or spiritual master of Prishadra, Vashistha should have taken Prishadra's offense very lightly. But instead, Vashistha cursed him to become a Shudra. It is the duty of a family priest not to curse a disciple, but to give him relief through the performance of some sort of atonement. Vashistha, however, did just the opposite. Therefore, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that he was dormati. In other words, his intelligence was not very good. Translation again: although Prishadra had committed the sin unknowingly, his family priest Vashistha cursed him, saying, "In your next life, you shall not be able to become a Kshatriya. Instead, you shall take birth as a Shudra because of killing the cow." Om Agana Timidandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militang Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we're continuing with the events, the key events in Prishadra's life. We spoke yesterday about how, although Prishadra is the son of Manu, he took up the vow of Virasana, standing up all night with a sword in his hand to protect the cows, demonstrating to mankind, demonstrating to humanity how important cow protection is. You can just think, the son of Manu, a Kshatriya, taking up the role, the vow to stay up all night protecting cows. And Prishadra had no offspring. He had no dynasty of his own coming after him because of this vow. This is showing us how important cow protection is. And as Prabhupada points out in the purport, how abominable the slaughter of cows is. Those of you here yesterday heard the purport where Srila Prabhupada said that slaughtering cows is the most sinful activity of human society. That means, if at all possible, a devotee wants nothing to do with it even indirectly. What to speak of directly? But in this day and age, economics rules everything. The dharma of the day and age is artha. Make money, save money somehow. That is the number one priority. Never mind the sinful implications, never mind the indirect, what to speak of the direct ramifications. Save money. And that is considered exalted morality. That is dharma. No matter what you do, no matter how it's done, if you're making money, if you're saving money, if you're investing money, all is fine. You're a successful person. Your family life has reached the pinnacle of attainment. Maybe go to the temple for Janmashtami once a year, but you're saving money. That is the most important factor. That decides whether you are a competent person or incompetent. Are you saving money? So we discussed a bit about that yesterday. Today we want to focus on, although Prishadra is so noble in his vow to protect the cows, and remember yesterday we discussed how Srila Prabhupada explains that in Vedic culture, that's real human culture, we do more than protect the cows, just like you do more than protect your children. What do you want from your children? You want them to be happy. Similarly, more than protecting cows, he explained, we want the cows to be happy. So now what has Prishadra got himself caught up in? An unintentional sin. During his staying up all night to protect the cows, it was a cloudy night, so the stars were covered and the visibility was severely reduced. So a tiger shows up, and true to his vow, Prishadra seeks to protect the cows and kill the tiger, which he's supposed to do. But because he couldn't see clearly, he didn't realize that he had cut off the head of the cow, not the tiger. He didn't realize the mistake until daylight in the morning. This is showing us how complicated and intricate the material world is. How could such a pure-hearted person as Prishadra become caught up in such a hideous sin? Directly killing a cow, although certainly that was not his intention in the least. This is the way the world is. And we lament, how could this happen? My motives were good. My heart was sincere, and then look what happened. This happened, that happened. Problems with my body, problems with bodies related to my body, problems with climate, problems with nature, problems with this, that, the other. The very nature of material existence and having a material body is problematic. So therefore, our emphasis is indeed, go back to Godhead. Don't seek a happy solution in this world beyond devotional service. And in devotional service, you can be happy, never mind the external happiness or distress. You can be happy because you're making Krishna happy. That is the secret of Vrindavan. All the residents of Vrindavan simply thought, how can Krishna be happy? How can Krishna be more comfortable? Even when, because of Krishna's presence in Braj, Kamsa sent so many demons. Never mind, the Brajbasis simply were thinking, how can Krishna be happy? They weren't thinking, oh, because of him we're in so many complications. Because of him we're suffering so much. No, they never thought like that. So many demons came, various creatures like Aghasura, the python demon, attacked. Devatas, demigods, are causing trouble, like Indra and Varuna. Even stationary objects like the cart and the Yamalarjun trees, they cause problems. They're supposed to be stationary, fixed in one place, but you know, the cart inhabited by Shakatasura collapsed. What to speak of the Yamalarjun trees, in an unprecedented way, falling down. So the Brijbasis encountered all these incidents, but they never expressed, oh, because of Krishna, we're going through all this. They were simply thinking, how can Krishna be happy? And Krishna is simply thinking how to bring more love out of his pure devotees, because that is real happiness. So the Nanda Maharaj and his cowherd people never thought of their own protection. By the arrangement of Yogamaya, Krishna's pastime energy, they never thought about saving their own skin, saving themselves. They're always thinking, protect Krishna, protect Krishna. But while under the influence of Yogamaya, they simply thought of Krishna's protection and not their own. Krishna always protected them. This is one of the mysteries of Vrindavan. The Brijbasis are covered by Yogamaya. So they are just thinking, Krishna, Krishna, how can Krishna be more comfortable? They weren't thinking of themselves in the least. Even when they would cry out in some danger, Krishna, save us, Krishna, save us. Is that being selfish? No, they're thinking, Krishna needs us alive in order for us to serve him. We don't mind dying, but what will that do for Krishna's service? Who will protect him? Who will feed him? Who will go with him to the forest with the cows? So that is the nature of Vrindavan. So we were discussing how we not only protect the cows, but we want to see that the cows are happy. But Prishadra got himself into a very difficult situation without intending. His intent was good. Let me protect the cows. And then unknowingly he cut off a cow's head, thinking it was the tiger's head. Obviously, he was very disturbed by this occurrence. He's the son of Manu. He knows the seriousness of cow killing. So today we find out the reaction given from Vashistha, the family priest. Vashistha is not so much stressing bhakti. He's a karmakanda priest in this particular role. And so he says, you've done a horrible karma, therefore I have to curse you. You have killed a cow. So therefore, today's verse, although Prishadra had committed the sin unknowingly, his family priest, Vashistha, cursed him, saying, in your next life, you won't become a Kshatriya. In your next life, you'll take birth as a Shudra. What would a contemporary person say about that? Well, I don't care about next life. I want to make the money now. Right? Next life, who knows? It may be, it may not be. Why worry about that? In fact, the Kali Yuga theology is, if you worry too much about the next life, you miss out on the opportunities for enjoyment in this life. So let the next life come. Whatever, it may come, it may not. Who knows? And who cares? How are my investments doing? What are the interest rates? How can I save more money, make more money? Next life, may be there, it may not be there. But if you focus too much on the next life, your attention dissipates into the clouds. You just become spaced out, and you neglect the opportunities to enjoy in this life. That's Kali Yuga theology. But in an intelligent human civilization, a real human civilization, persons are concerned. I want to be happy in this life and the next life. Therefore, let me follow the Shastric injunctions. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yashashvadim utstrija vartate kama karata nasa siddham navapnopti the sukham na paramgati. You neglect the principles, the rules, the injunctions of the Shastra, you can't be happy. You will not attain the perfection of life. An intelligent person is worried about this. Now notice Vashistha, in cursing Prishadra, didn't even say that Prishadra would become a fallen Kshatriya in the next life. He said, you will not be a Kshatriya, you'll be a Shudra. So what do we say about that according to Kali Yuga standards? All right, he's going to become a Shudra in the next life, but he probably will make a lot of money as a Shudra. What's so bad about that? As long as the money is there. This is our principle. Make money, save money as the number one dharma. So why is Vashistha responding in such a way? What happened to him? So the acharyas explain that he was not completely free from tamaguna, the mode of ignorance. So his vision was cloudy. This is what happens for those involved in karma kanda, the intricacies of good karma, bad karma, punya and papa. It's a complicated material web, and even the priest becomes affected. This is pointed out in the 6th canto by Vishvarup, when the demigods approached him to be their priest. The demigods were warned, Vishvarup can be partial to the demons, but the demigods had no choice. They were instructed that they would, if they want to retain their heavenly kingdom, they had to take help from Vishvarup. So they went to Vishvarup and asked, can you be our priest? And Vishvarup replied, being a priest, in other words, being a karma kanda priest is not so desirable. You get reactions. He said, better to be the kind of brahmana who goes to the agricultural fields after the harvest and picks up whatever grains are left on the ground. Better to do that. Or go to the marketplace, and when some grains have spilled onto the ground, collect those grains. Better to be that kind of brahmana who maintains himself in that way than to be a family priest brahmana dependent on the donations of his clients. So that was Vishvarupa's advice, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur repeats that in his commentary to this verse. You can understand why Vashistha's judgment was off. He was affected by all this papa and punya and atoning processes, and it's intricate, accepting donations. So he cursed unnecessarily. Prishadra, you're going to be a Sudra. So we already spoke about how these days we wouldn't care. Sudra, Brahmana, this, that, the other, as long as you got the money. That's a less than Sudra civilization, which puts forth such conceptions. So what will Prishadra do? Will he get angry? No, just like Pritchett Maharaj when he was cursed, he gracefully accepted it. Pritchett Maharaj, when cursed by the little Brahmana boy Shringi, could have counteracted the curse. He could have nullified the curse. He could have gone to Shringi's Brahmana father and begged forgiveness. But he didn't do any of that. You might say, why didn't Pritchett Maharaj just go to Shringi's father? What was Shringi's father's name? What rishi? Shamika Rishi. Why didn't he just go and say, look, I'm sorry I put the dead snake around your shoulders. It was a moment of indiscretion. But he felt, Pritchett Maharaj felt, I don't want to embarrass Shamika Rishi by going and apologizing. I'll just take what his son has done. I'll take it. Cursed to die in 7 days, so be it. Let the snake bird bite, or whatever else this Brahmana boy has devised. I simply want to go on hearing and chanting the glories of Krishna. This is Srimad Bhagavatam. So Pritchett Maharaj knew this situation is devised so that Bhagavatam can be spoken and I can go back to Godhead. Similarly, Prishadra accepted the curse of Vashistha in that way. He did not get angry. I've been unjustly cursed in my next life to take birth as a Sudra. This is not fair. I didn't do any sin intentionally. And look at all these complications. No, what did he do? He took to bhakti very vigorously. He left home. He became completely dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, wandering free of all material attachments, taking up the lifestyle of an avadhuta, appearing to others to be deaf and dumb, but always intensely focused on the Supreme Lord. So he's showing, yes, material life is full of unexpected, unintended intricacies, but keep your eyes on the prize. Keep your focus on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So then, during his avadhuta lifestyle, in which he was oblivious to all social expectations, simply focused on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he passed by a forest, and the forest was on fire. So what did Prishadra do? He said, what a great occasion, a situation for me to finish this body and go back to Godhead. So he just entered into the forest fire. His body was burned, and he went back to Godhead. This is how fixed and determined he was. So he took advantage of what was a bad decision by Vashistha, severe indiscretion, cursing someone who had done no intentional wrong. Because Vashistha was affected by the whole material scheme of balancing the good karma with the bad karma, being that kind of priest who accepts donations and the support of his clients for the priest's family welfare. So Vashistha's vision was cloudy. But Prishadra didn't just spend his whole life crying, what injustice, what injustice, this is not fair, how could this happen to me? I'm the son of Manu. Instead, he focused more on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, became free from all material attachment, and went back to Godhead. So Prishadra's example is very monumental. In spite of the intricacies of material existence, in spite of the intricacies of family priests and their atonement processes, Prishadra went to the bhakti level and eventually ended his life going back to Godhead. This can remind us of Caitanya Leela, one devotee of Lord Chaitanya named Subhuti Roy. He was a wealthy landowner, and he had one Muslim employee, a youth. And he engaged that Muslim youth employee in many tasks, treating the employee just like a good employer. He treated the employee like his own son. But sometimes he would chastise the employee, the youth. And so there was an occasion of digging a big lake, and somehow or other the Muslim youth had made some mistake. So Subhuti Roy, with his whip, put some marks on the back of the youth, the laborer. As fate has it in the up and down tumultuous world of good and bad karma, as fate would have it, that Muslim youth became a big Muslim governor in the future. And so one day, the wife of the Muslim governor, who used to be that little boy taken care of by Subhuti Roy, the wife of the governor saw on his back, "What are these marks on your back?" And the governor explained that when I was a youth, Subhuti Roy put these marks with a whip on my back. What was the wife's reaction? What do you think? Kill him! So the Muslim governor told his wife, "I can't kill Subhuti Roy. He was my benefactor. He raised me practically like his son. He's doing, whatever he did was for my own good." What did his wife say? Say it. Yes. Subhuti Roy, what a situation that he was in. Because now the Muslim governor had grown up and he's the top in the land. And here his wife is pushing, "Kill him, kill Subhuti Roy, kill him, kill him." So the Muslim governor is resisting. Finally, his wife comes up with plan B. What was plan B? If you're not going to kill him, then turn him into a Muslim. Take your water pot and sprinkle a few drops on his head, and that automatically makes him a Muslim. So the governor said, "I can't do that, because if I make him into a Muslim, he'll practically die. So I can't do that either." But his wife kept persisting. "You got to do something. Get some revenge. Do something, do something." So finally, the governor relented. All right. He took his water pot and he sprinkled some drops on Subhuti Roy's head. That meant Subhuti Roy was now an outcast in Hindu society. Because these externals were considered so important, even though now it seems ridiculous to us. Someone sprinkles some water on your head from their water pot, immediately you become something else. But no, that's how rigid an external Hindu society was and can be. Remember, Rupa and Sanatan were considered Muslims because they were always associated with Muslim politicians. Even though they were born in Saraswati Brahmana family, by their association, they're considered fallen, they're considered Muslim. Srila Prabhupada, in describing historical events in Bengal, would remind us of times when there would be Muslim-Hindu fighting, riots, and Muslims would take cow flesh and forcibly push it into the mouth of Hindus. And then the Hindu would think, "Oh no, I'm a Muslim," because someone forcibly put cow flesh in the mouth. And then another situation where, in order to increase the number of Muslims, the Muslim rulers said there's a special tax on Hindus. So many persons thought it was cheaper to be a Muslim. And don't have to pay the tax. So in that way, the ranks of the Muslims increased. Prabhupada gives that historical reference. So Subhuti Roy was now a Muslim because someone sprinkled water from a Muslim water pot on his head. So he didn't know what to do. So he left home and he went to Varanasi to consult the Brahmanas in Varanasi. And the Brahmanas, the first batch of Brahmanas he consulted said, there's only one atonement for having the water from a Muslim water pot sprinkled on your head. There's only one way you can counteract this. The only one atonement is drink boiling ghee and end your life. So Subhuti Roy said, just like you go to an astrologer and he tells you one thing, what do you say? Huh? Go to another one. I want to marry this girl. What do you say? No? Incompatible? Let me try another one. Where's the next astrologer? So, Subhuti Roy did just that. He went to another bunch of Brahmanas and they said, oh, your situation's not so severe at all. Don't worry about it. So it's like when you consult a lawyer or a doctor, you get a different opinion each time you consult this lawyer, this doctor, that lawyer. Your head starts to spin. So Subhuti Roy met up with Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And told Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the whole story. I like the way Prabhupada recounts the history. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's reaction was, oh, just see how fallen the Hindu religion is. Such nonsense. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, just chant Hare Krishna. In the Abha stage of chanting Hare Krishna, the clearing stage, all your sinful reactions will be destroyed. And then in the stage of pure chanting, you'll attain shelter at Krishna's lotus feet, and no sinful activity can touch you then. You have the pure shelter of Krishna's lotus feet in the stage of perfect chanting. So just start chanting Hare Krishna. And that's what Subhuti Roy did. He went to Vrindavan and became a prime devotee care department. Mendicants who would come to Vrindavan would have their welfare looked after by Subhuti Roy. Particularly, he focused on the Bengali Vaishnavas who would come to North India from Bengal, come to Vrindavan, and they couldn't digest the roti and chapati. They're used to rice. So they would always have indigestion. And also they were accustomed in Bengal to always having the mustard oil massage. So when they came to Vrindavan, they couldn't get these things. No rice, no mustard oil massage. So Subhuti Roy would supply them with these things, including he would supply them with yogurt to help their indigestion because they were having a tough time with the rotis and chapatis. So in this way, Subhuti Roy is showing the bliss of caring for Vaishnavas. So back to Prishadra. He attained the ultimate goal of life. Instead of dying and taking birth as a Shudra, he died and went back to Godhead. So he took advantage of a mishap, a severe miscarriage of justice, we would say these days. He took advantage of that, focused on Krishna, and got the ultimate goal of life. In spite of Vashistha's acting improperly as a family priest. As a family priest, if Vashistha wasn't offering bhakti, he should at least offer a program of pious activity to counteract the sinful activity. He didn't do that. You know, in the 6th canto of Bhagavatam, Prishadra Maharaj has that discussion with Shukadeva Goswami. You in the 5th canto have described the hellish planets. How do you avoid going there? How do you atone? And so Shukadeva Goswami explained different processes of atonement. But in each case, Prishadra Maharaj said, that won't get to the root of the problem, the propensity to cause sinful activity. You're just scraping the surface by these processes of karma atonement, jnana atonement, pushed by Prishadra Maharaj, happily pushed by Prishadra Maharaj. Shukadeva Goswami explained, Kechik Kevalaya Bhakta, Vasudeva Parayana. Only by pure devotion to Lord Vasudeva can the entire motivation to perform sinful activity be uprooted. Other attempts at atonement are external, balancing the bad karma with the good karma, understanding your spirit, Aham Brahmasmi. That doesn't get to the root of the problem of trying to be the enjoyer and controller. And as soon as you try to be the enjoyer and controller in the material world, you make sinful activities. Maybe in one life you're so perfect, but in the next life, sooner or later, the intricacies of material existence catch up with you, just like they did with Prishadra, who's the son of Manu. That's why, also in the 6th canto, when the Yama Dutas are dialoguing with the Vishnu Dutas, what did the Yama Dutas say? In defense of their trying to take Ajamil, they said, we go for anyone who is sinful. That means sooner or later we get everyone. You may not see us in this lifetime, but in the next lifetime, we'll be there for you. Because the way the material world is constructed, sooner or later you're going to slip up. Even though you're the most pious person, in this life or the next life, you're going to slip up. And when you do, we'll be there. So they're giving you the overview of not just this lifetime, but lifetime after lifetime. The way this world is constructed, as Prishadra's incident is showing. Some or other you get tripped up. And he made a horrible, unintentional mistake of cutting off the head of a cow while protecting cows. So this is how dangerous material existence is. Our only shelter is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So today, I believe, is the appearance day of Shivas Thakura. Yes. Lord Chaitanya would appear in 4 places. Number 1, when Shachi Mata, his mother, was offering food. Number 2, when Raghava Pandit was cooking in the kitchen. Number 3, wherever Nityananda would dance. And number 4, Lord Chaitanya would appear whenever there was kirtan in the house of Shivas Thakura. Shivas Thakura and his wife Malini were very close to Jagannath Mishra and Shachi, Lord Chaitanya's parents. And when Nimai Pandit, as a youth, was such a notorious scholar, seemingly arrogant, undefeatable, knowing everything, and no one could touch him in knowledge and debate. He would argue, he would ask, present something to me. And then the person who presented some logic situation to him, some grammatical complexity, they would present that to Nimai Pandit. He would defeat it. And the person would be astonished. And then Nimai Pandit would explain the same situation in support of it. So he was so notorious about being such a powerful scholar that devotees, when they saw him walking on the street, would cross to the other side of the street so as not to get caught up in some kind of scholarly debate with him. So Shivas Thakura one day told Nimai Pandit, look, what is the use of scholarship without bhakti? If you're going to study, you should study Krishna. Otherwise, all your studying is wasted. One day, may you become a devotee of Krishna. So what was Nimai Pandit's reaction? Yes, I thank you for the benediction. Indeed, may it happen one day that I'll be a devotee of Krishna. So then, when it's time for the transformation, after Vishwambara Mahaprabhu goes to Gaya, he comes back, and he is like a mad person. People don't know what to do. He's laughing, he's dancing, he's collapsing on the ground, he's shedding tears, falling on the ground unconscious. Mother Sachi Devi is in total distress. What to do? She takes advice from people, and they give her various advice. You should have him drink green coconut juice. Probably his problems, his madness is caused by some digestive gastric problem. Another one would say, massage him with medicated ghee. Everyone had their home remedy. What to do, what to do, what to do. Sometimes he would climb up, as Sachi Devi pointed out. He would climb into the branch of a tree and then with his eyes closed, fall on the ground. So people were saying, some madness has reappeared in him. Some kind of craziness, some kind of disease has taken over him. Some disease that he's been carrying since birth, but now it's coming out. And so everyone is bewildered. So then Shivas comes along, and Lord Chaitanya asks him, the people are saying that I'm a madman, I'm diseased. What do you say? And what was Shivas Thakura's response? I hope I'll get the same madness. What you are going through is Mahabhava, the highest and most intense stage of love of Krishna. May that madness come to me also. This madness is desired by Brahma. This madness is desired by Shiva. This madness is desired by Shaunaka. May I also get it. So how did Lord Chaitanya respond? He embraced Srivas. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. If you had said that I had some ordinary madness, I would have just jumped in the Ganga and drowned myself. Once Srivas was worshiping Narayan in his home, and in comes Mahaprabhu. This is all before Mahaprabhu leaves Navadvip. He bursts into the home of Shivas Thakura and sits on the throne of Vishnu in the deity room and says, I am he, I am he. During the appearance of Lord Chaitanya in the first years, very few knew he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Advaita Acharya knew. It is said that Srivas knew. But most, even though they were seeing Mahaprabhu as a youth do many inconceivable things, by the influence of Yoga Maya, they couldn't add 1 + 1 = 2. This is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They couldn't do that. So Lord Chaitanya is declaring himself, bursting into the home of Shivas Thakura, sitting on the altar on the throne of Vishnu. No, I am Vishnu. This is he's coming out of the closet. What else, Shivas Thakura? There was a kirtan in the courtyard of his house. Ecstatic kirtan, nightly kirtan. You can go to the site in Mayapur. How many of you have been to Shivas Angan? That's the site of Shivas Thakura's nighttime kirtans. And so they're in the courtyard with Mahaprabhu having kirtan, but inside the house, Shivas Thakura's son has just died. So Shivas goes to see the situation. Naturally, the ladies of the house are crying, and Shivas Thakura tells him, look, whatever you do, don't disturb Mahaprabhu's kirtan. If out of family affection you're going to cry like this, okay, but keep it quiet, because we don't want Mahaprabhu noticing that there's something wrong. We don't want to disturb the kirtan. So then Shivas Thakura went back to the kirtan in the courtyard. When the kirtan at night came to an end, Mahaprabhu said, I noticed that there was something different tonight. Has some calamity happened in the house? And then Shivas told him, well, there's this small matter that my son died during the night. So immediately, Mahaprabhu says, let's go to where the son's body is. And by the presence of Mahaprabhu, the son's departed soul came back to the body and began to speak. He said, my time in this family is over. My time in this body is over. I am the servant of Mahaprabhu. Wherever he wants me to go, and when he wants me to go, I'll go. And then he was quiet. So Shivas Thakura was understanding, and he explained to his wife and other ladies of the house, my son has died in the presence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during the kirtan. It doesn't get any better than that. But of course, his son is gone. And when Mahaprabhu heard that Shivas Thakura had kept the whole incident of his son dying during the night, had kept it quiet so as not to disturb the kirtan, Mahaprabhu began to cry, noting the great love of Shivas Thakura. And he told him, Nityananda and I will become your sons. All right, any questions? Yes, Kaili Kanana Prabhu.
Last Maharaj. You were sharing about how the Vrajvasis never complained, and even when they were caught in the forest fire, they wanted to be saved just so they could protect Krishna.
Serve Krishna, yes.
Serve Krishna. So my question is that I've seen when calamity happens in some people's lives, they go away from Krishna, and for others, when calamity happens, they go towards Krishna.
Yes, as Prishadra is demonstrating, he used the situation to come closer. And so?
Is there a way we can develop that?
By hearing Bhagavatam, hearing about Pritchett Maharaj, hearing about Prishadra. By hearing, gradually your spiritual character becomes formed. Without hearing, combined with proper association, it's very difficult. You become like whom you associate with. Oh, it wasn't fair what happened to you, injustice. That may well be true, But what are you going to do in terms of your spiritual development? Whoever said there's justice in the material world? But we become very disturbed when injustice happens to us, misunderstanding happens to us. Let's say you write a song, and before you can copyright it, someone steals it, and your whole life was going to be a success based on that song. And then it happens, these things happen, right? You try to go to court, try to prove, yeah, I wrote the song. Judge doesn't accept it. Whoever's got the most powerful lawyer wins. Whoever has got the best lawyer wins the court case. And you can be angry all your life. So Prishadra could have been raging at Vashistha. What kind of priest are you? But the acharyas point out the important part of Prishadra's incident is his reaction to being cursed. He just humbly accepted what his family priest said. All right, I'm cursed to be a Shudra in my next life. Let me go beyond Kshatriya, Shudra, Brahmana. Let me be a Bhakta. Let me focus intensely on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he became so callous, so beyond material existence that he could look at a forest fire and say, whoa, what an opportunity to get rid of this body and go back to Godhead. That's how beyond material existence he was. We don't recommend that you do this. Anything else? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. What will be the difference between suicide and him going into the fire in that case?
He's an avaduta. You're not an avaduta, are you? Avadutas are beyond all Vedic formulas, Vedic social behavior. They're in a world of their own. Just like Nityananda. Nityananda Avaduta, Avaduta Chandra. He's neither Grihastha, Brahmachari, Sannyas. He's just in his own realm, Nityananda. Whereas Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was wanting to demonstrate the principles of sannyas very rigorously. Whereas Nityananda, as a Dvaita, would always mockingly criticize Nityananda. Who knows the circumstances of your birth? Who knows what caste you are? We don't know anything about this. And we're associating with you, ruining our own situation? There's several occasions where Advaitacharya, having mock fighting with Nityananda, just points out, you just have no material designations. You don't make any material sense at all. So we don't act like avadutas in this day and age. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Stand out pranams. Thank you for a nice class yesterday and today. One question which I have is, you gave a great solution yesterday, the great analogy of mother cow milk, right?
Of what?
For the cow milk. Yesterday you said that
Yeah.
you said that you take care of your parents in India. It's very similar to that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So another question which I have is, on the we do a lot of other things. Every moment I live in this world, I'm only destroying Krishna's property. I'm destroying Krishna's property in terms of electricity, consuming electricity, fuel, and if I build a house, then clocks of wood is being destroyed. So every moment I live in this world, I'm only destroying Krishna's property. So what is the solution for this?
Well, you raised 2 points about milk and about living in this world, which is all Krishna's resource. So first of all, about Krishna's resources, make sure, as Ishopanishad says, make sure that you recognize everything is owned and controlled by Krishna so that you use everything in Krishna's service. Ishavashamidam sarvam. Take what you need to live a Krishna-centered life. Make sure we do that. That's real environmental living. All the energy belongs to Krishna. I can take what I need for the purpose of living a Krishna-centered life. Now you had brought up the point about milk. Yesterday there seemed to be some confusion in our world of saving money. There was seen to be some doubt that whether all the milk, ahimsa milk available in your region is being taken by the Melbourne community. Some said yes, some said no. What do you think the answer is? We hired our scholar, Goparvindesh Prabhu, research scholar, to research the situation and give us the facts. So are you ready for the facts? Is there enough ahimsa milk available for more of the Melbourne community? Or no, it's not available? What do you think? We'll now read the answer. Are you ready? Based on the advanced research of Goparvindesh Prabhu, we have found out that only 50% of the milk is being absorbed by the Melbourne community. Only 50%. The rest, in order to make the dairy operation viable, the rest has to be shipped to Perth, to Brisbane, to Sydney, Adelaide. Oh, you get some in Adelaide? Yes. You would think that the Melbourne community would plunder it all. But why not? Well, why not? Huh? Too expensive, save money. So here you have an opportunity of pure milk. No growth hormones in it, no antibiotics in it, no vitamin enhancers, chemical vitamin enhancers in it, pure milk. But too expensive. Better go to the dairy and get slaughterhouse milk. This is our problem. So 50% has to be shipped far away. We should have a problem here in which the demand for the milk is so great. The demand for the ahimsa milk is so great that it's competition to get it. But no. What kind of sustainability, what kind of proper solution is it that the milk has to be shipped far away, even to Perth, because not enough buyers in Melbourne? What a great fortune. You have ample supply of ahimsa milk, pure milk. But because of the number one dharma in Kali Yuga, save money. Oh, that's all you have to say to someone. Look, we're saving money. Oh, very nice, very nice. That's the number one principle. That's the regulative principle. So much so that we overlook this most important principle of real human society, taking care of the cows, in fact, keeping them happy. Anyway, I won't say anything more. Yes.
Maharaj, you spoke about cow protection and son of Manu's unintentional sin. unintentional sin he committed, and investments as well. You spoke about a little bit investment, saving the money. This question I had for a while. I thought I'll ask today. This is very common nowadays that people invest their money, even devotees invest their money in ETFs, bonds, mutual funds, like that. But we never know the money we give them, where they invest. They invest in many sinful, unlawful activities like slaughterhouses and so many other things. Do we get karma?
First of all, make sure that the fruit, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, karmani eva dakaraste. You have a right to do your duty, but you're not entitled to the fruits. So, if you have some doubt about how your money is being made, what kind of investments you're sponsoring, if you have some doubt, you don't know for sure, you purify the money by giving it to Krishna. I know many people who do that. They give to the deities, they give to the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, books or deities. They know this is such a powerful use of the money that it will cleanse any sinful reactions. Second thing is, you should be aware, conscious investing, so that you don't inadvertently, like Prishadra, get hit with some reaction because the money you're investing is being used in a sinful way. You should be aware, conscious investing. Even non-devotees are doing that. They're pressuring their investment agencies, disinvest. What is it called? De-invest or disinvest? What's the word? Who knows? Divest, that's it. We want to be divested of all these questionable recipients of our money. Just like in the USA, big universities like Harvard and Yale have huge endowment funds, and the students are always making commotion. Divest yourself of fossil fuel industries, this industry, that industry. We don't want the money going to that. So even the non-devotees are careful about that, some of them. What to speak of us? But it's often not possible to get to the bottom of where your money is going, how it's being used, because everything in the age of Kali is tinged with some fault. So therefore, by spiritual economics, by using your profits to please the deities, to engage in Krishna's service, to support a Krishna-conscious lifestyle, that in that way, especially by giving to the deity, by giving to for Prabhupada's books, those recipients are so powerful that they can neutralize, without a doubt, any contaminations. So that's what I recommend.
Thank you.
But living in this world, it's impossible not to get caught up in some intricacy. Directly, indirectly, because it's the nature of contamination in the age of Kali. It's everywhere.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the class. So my question is continuation of both the questions. So the incident of Prashadra, he committed sins accidentally killing a cow. But in the present age, we knowingly and unknowingly commit many sins. You also said that to chant Hare Krishna mantra to overcome the sins. But the seventh, out of the 10 offenses, the seventh offense is like to commit sinful actions on the strength of the holy name. Now again, if a devotee is investing anywhere where they are doing sinful activities, And if he is sharing the profit with the temple or donating to deities or to BBT, again he is doing it on the strength of holy name and sinful.
No, he's not doing it on the strength of the holy name. He may not be living in the best bhakti kind of way, but he's not sinning on the strength of the holy name. Sinning on the strength of the holy name means I'll commit a simple activity, but chanting Hare Krishna will protect me. But that is considered a greatest offense. To purposely do some simple activity thinking, I'll be all right because I'm chanting Hare Krishna. It doesn't refer to so much indirect complications caused by being in this world. As you become more Krishna conscious, you become more and more aware of the intricacies of living in material existence and how we're compromised, and you seek to reduce those compromises. That's part of a bhakti lifestyle. Sometimes, for example, persons who own a meat restaurant, they become devotees. So the question is always, what to do? They just can't immediately walk away from their business. They've got to shut it down gradually. So we have to use our intelligence how to extricate ourselves from material entanglement. It may take a while for them to wind the business down and sell it. Otherwise, if someone fanatical shows up, oh, you're in Maya, shut this business down overnight. That's not very practical. It's all about the intent. All right, I'm in this situation. How do I deal with it to get out of it in a practical way? Bhakti is not some kind of impossible task. It's not some kind of impractical lifestyle. It requires thought and guidance, and then you can handle all these situations. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the nice class. So I had this question, like sometimes in trying to do good for others, we end up making an unintentional mistake, and this leads to self-criticism or self-doubting. I just wanted to ask, like, how to get out of self-criticism and see it as an opportunity to improve.
How to get out of?
Self-criticism.
When what happens?
Like sometimes we're trying to do good for others, but we end up like doing wrong or...
Can you give an example? You're not talking about cutting off the head of a cow instead of a tiger. What are you speaking of? Can you give an example? It always helps. No example.
It's hard to think.
All right, next time, come up with an example. That'll make it easier to answer. Otherwise, it'll be very theoretical. All I can say is if unintentionally you've caused someone some distress, apologize. That's all I can say. It happens. So if someone is feeling offended because I'm criticizing not using all the ahimsa milk, I apologize. But we want Melbourne Temple to be #1. As Aniruddha Prabhu explained yesterday morning, the deities, they get ahimsa milk. Why not you? So you have the great luxury of having pure milk available. But maybe you consider it an inconvenience. It's available, but very expensive. It's actually such a great blessing. Other temples don't have this. Why should Perth and Brisbane and Adelaide and Sydney raid your milk supply? You should gobble it all up. Let them find their own solution. All right. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.